and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Women Today Show with Christine Amira. This is a platform that seeks to inspire, encourage, and motivate young women through candid conversations about everyday life. And I'm so glad today you've been able to tune in. First, I'd like to thank Movenpick Hotel for offering us this room where we can have candid conversations with top women leaders that would seek to inspire you, encourage you, and help you reach your fullest potential. Thanks, Movenpick, for telling women that yes, you can. On that note, I just want to start this show with a thought. There's a thought or a saying that says the woman who says she can is actually right, and the woman who says she can't is also right. It's all in the mindset, and we're here to recharge, remodel, relook at our mindset, and see whether we are really doing the best to reach our fullest potential in the area of personal branding. I brought in today a guest who is so key in terms of branding because she's the CEO of BSD Group, and she's also the CEO and founder of 100 Brands Most Loved by Women. And she's also the director at KEPSA, Kenya Private Sector Authority. You can see she's big on brands, both corporate and personal branding. And we're here to listen to her, over 22 years of experience, learn from her, and be able to engage with her. And don't forget that on the 31st of March 2023, there will also be an event on International Women's Month celebration by Women Today Show, where you'll be able to meet her, ask your questions. Probably she will say something beautiful that will inspire you, and you'd like to engage more. This will be the time to come, network, and be in a space to learn and get more. So thank you. I'll stop talking now and just get into the show today, and let's have an engaging and interesting conversation with you. I don't know how you define personal branding today. Maybe we can just start there. How would you define the idea of personal branding?
Yeah. I think that's a really important question. And because people have convoluted the understanding of what it is. My understanding and my practice is it is a structured way that's very, very intentional, very conscious of how one individual would position themselves so that they differentiate, so that they are better understood for what they stand for, and so that they are consistent in their articulation and projection of what they believe, what is truly authentic to them.
Okay.
So that's personal branding. That you would differentiate, that you would build credibility, that you would perhaps be an authority in a space that you define for yourself. Okay? And you can define any space. But that you position yourself so that when people think about you, they easily will relate to this space that you've defined for yourself in a believable, credible way. And so that through that whole mechanic, you're able to influence, you're able to drive positive influence, preferably positive, that you're able to move an agenda that will deliver on level of impact. So really that's personal branding. And when you are conscientious about it, when you're intentional, then you are ticking off on a matrix that has been driven from, an introspection. Okay? Can you refresh your personal brand? Absolutely. You can keep reinventing it towards a common goal and a common purpose.
Okay. And then the next question would be, so for this, for personal branding, is there a different way of looking at it where you can have 2 or 3 agendas or 4 that you're trying to push, or maybe that you identify with?
Absolutely, because think about even product brands or perhaps corporate brands. There can be a corporation that is known for a sub-brand this or a product brand this, or you can have a product brand that has got different variations. So similarly with an individual, as long as there is a consistency, okay? So if you take my personal example, I'm huge on women's economic empowerment. And that really has, in recent years, been the emphasis around which my personal brand is strongly associated. But I have also championed youth engagement and entrepreneurship. And I have also been strongly associated with championing causes around children living with disability. Okay. So you can represent three positions, but be known for those consistently, in a way that is credible, in a way that is differentiated, in a way that is believable, and that is driving influence so that it is impacting your agenda.
Okay. And so just let us not be greedy, but how many agendas can one have for them to look credible to others?
So I've spoken about the three, but perhaps if you really conduct an audit on Eva Muraya, you'll find that perhaps there's one that is the dominant one. Got it? Yeah. And that's because the reality of a consumer, the people who consume my personal brand, can only perhaps take so many messages at any instant. So I think it is important for you to carefully craft whether it will be one or two or three, and not drive too many so that you don't create confusion around your audience, around your stakeholder community or the public that may not really know you at a personal level to be able to sift. But every time they have engagement with your personal brand at any platform of choice, that public would know you in a consistent way for something that they'll say, she is the lady of, or he is the gentleman of. And that's really the idea of good personal branding and positioning.
Okay. So how did branding come to you? Because you just spoke about BSD Group to me now, about it being a holding company for 4 companies. One of them dealing with branding. So how did this realization of branding, might be corporate branding, but then also, today we're talking about personal branding, but how did this idea come to you?
Well, I'm not sure we have 12 hours because it's a long story, but the short version of the story is that I grew up and went to school and ended up strongly in the creative economy. I am trained as a journalist who is a marketer because that was my minor, and my career opportunities always landed me in the marketing department. So prior to becoming an entrepreneur, and yes, I am the founder and CEO of BSD Group, which is a business and brand advisory and communications agency. I had about 12 years of corporate Kenya, working in different spaces, but always in a role that was either brand promoting or, whether it's in advertising, whether it's in public relations, or selling brand. So that was my 12 years of being socialized in the craft at a corporate level. And now I have run my businesses the last 22 years. Isn't that a short time?
It's a long time.
It's a short time.
It's a long-term experience.
So it is something that I have built a passion for, understood very, very well. I've had great exposure in advising, managing, innovating, communicating different brands, whether it's for government, whether it's for private sector, whether it's for intergovernmental agencies, for not-for-profit, even people. I've had great exposure in the journey. So if you ask me how did it come, it's a combination of factors. It's years of experience. It's being exposed to either a cause-driven brand, a product-driven brand, a corporate brand, a personal brand, and all these just feed into building on that energy and building on the proficiency of the craft of brand building.
Okay, that's interesting. Started a brand called Top 100, brands loved by women.
Yes.
What's that about?
And it was an initiative that BSD Group crafted. We coined it, we conceived it. Some years ago, the whole idea started baking maybe in 2018 and matured in 2019. But we needed a partner who would create the possibility of us doing this at scale. So finding Ipsos was just the best thing that we could do. So what is this? It's a study, a national study, that really aims at bringing home the truth of a woman, a Kenyan woman consumer. Okay? We want to bring the truth of who she is home. Why? Because for a long time, we have understood as a business, this consumer segment has either been ignored, omitted, misrepresented, underrepresented, and we wanted to see the statistics that emerge from this woman consumer, the data, provides insights that a lot more attention needs to be paid to her. If she is, as has been proven through our study consistently, is controlling, significantly controlling the purchasing decisions of households, influencing significantly in other categories, whether it is in the automobile world or it is in insurance for family, holidays, name it, then maybe we really do need to pay attention to who this woman consumer is. So we are proudly associated with this excellent piece of work. And it was amazing that no such study had ever been done before. Not just in Kenya, not in East Africa, across Africa, and perhaps across the world. So this was really innovative, very disruptive, as is consistent with BSD. And on the 21st of March, in tandem with the theme of International Women's Month, we will then now be revealing the 2023 edition of the Top 100. So policymakers, brand owners, business owners, communication people, media are beginning to use our data to inform business decisions around brands.
I just have a question that just came top of my mind. What does my love for a certain brand say about me as a woman? Like, how do you relate that data? Because I would love, I don't want to give examples of brands, but ideally one brand versus another brand, and yet they serve the same purpose.
That's a really good question. Because brands are often, on the larger scale of things, created for business and possibly even created for profit. Now, when a woman, Kenyan consumer, is loving your brand, it begins to suggest that she is going to be loyal, she's going to talk about it, she's going to tell about it, she's going to keep it within her circle of influence, and that whole relationship that has arrived at a love factor sounds to me like very good business.
It is.
Sounds to me like it may inform your distribution strategy. Sounds to me that it may inform your product development strategy. Sounds to me like it should inform your communication strategy, etc. So when a woman is identified to love a certain brand, that is very good business insight, and the owner of that brand should care to understand why she's loving it, how she's loving it. Might there be preferences that would enhance the love factor? So you need to just keep pushing so that she loves it more and more and more.
So I was just curious, before I continue with this until you have to reveal what's happening on 21st March, Top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. Will it keep changing every year? So you do a study every year?
Every year the data is fresh.
It's fresh,
Like we are just completing with field work. We should be completing in another week. And who knows? where the Kenyan woman consumer is.
Okay.
Who knows what the top 100 brands will be? The ones that were when we first began are not necessarily who ended up in 2022,
exactly.
and perhaps may not be who she now loves, because she is it's her prerogative to tell through this study the ones that she most loves. Where are we going with this? We really want to promote this study as a tool for policymakers to drive a more enabling environment so that more boardrooms are making women consumers core to whatever business decisions they are making. Have we understood her sufficiently so that we can make the right decisions for her? That's a responsible thing to do in order for her to influence and inform the performance of our organization, both at a top line and a bottom line.
Okay. And would you say women are the largest consumers in the market of many of these brands than men?
Consumers to the level of influence, consumers to the level of, they are now earners in a larger way than before. That study is showing that. Women are definitely strong influencers. They are also the ones determining what ends up in the shopping basket by a very, very high range. And therefore the irony is, so why has she been so underrepresented, misunderstood? Why haven't the boardrooms been prioritizing her aspirations, her fears, her anxieties, her dreams, her concerns in the decisions that are made around brands? So we're beginning to re-navigate the way she has been treated by brand owners, brand promoters, and making her become core to whatever decisions we are making around the value chain.
Yeah, what I love about this is also how you make the market so competitive that brands will have to work hard, to be able to give women value for what they are spending on. That is absolutely amazing.
And honestly, big shame on us, all of us, if we have not understood the role that this woman consumer has always played. It is smart economics to begin to get into her mind and get into her heart and get into her hands in terms of the activity, the movement, so that this makes it better for you as a business owner, as a business driver, as a policy maker. It's just smart economics whichever way you look through the value chain.
Yeah. So, Eva, you wear too many hats. So I've talked about BSD. Now I have moved to the top 100 most loved brands by women study. Now I'm about to get to KEPSA. So do you believe that what you have been in terms of your brand and your personality is what has driven the position as director of KEPSA? Yeah.
Yes.
And what are those qualities basically?
Well, I must say that I was invited to join the board of KEPSA. I really didn't participate in that decision, and I was honored. It is voluntary. It is a no-pay position. So for that, I remain indebted to the committee at KEPSA that nominates and appoints people to join boards. Initially, I joined at a sector board level, where I served for 4 years as the chair of Gender and Youth Sector Board. And now I serve on the main board of the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, which is an honor because members allow you to serve. It is not something you prescribe. So perhaps the personal brand of Eva Muraya in the market could have influenced that. As I have told you, that my passions have been around women's economic empowerment. I am nuts around youth empowerment. You know that all too well. And I've loved it. I have served with my heart different initiatives perhaps one that comes to mind immediately. For many years, I served as the chair of the Zawadi Africa Education Fund that really gave me a front row seat to understand the challenges that many of our Kenyan youth face in getting into leadership. And so we developed this amazing program that provides education as just one tool to develop our leaders for our country, our continent, and the world. And then, of course, I have lived the last 26 years unapologetically raising a young daughter who is differently abled. And so my engagement with persons with disability comes from a place of authenticity. It is not something that I know conceptually. It is my life. And for that reason, perhaps KEPSA then identified me to bring these gifts and talents and experiences into the role of being the director for gender, but together with SME. So I am gender and SME, and the last 22 years, I have known where the shoe pinches. If there was anything that you needed to ever experience in business, I've experienced it. There's nothing you can surprise me with in entrepreneurship. Been there, done that, worn the t-shirt many times over. So it remains a real privilege and an honor to serve in the role that I serve at KEPSA.
And now I'm trying to understand, because I believe young people grow up and their brand, their interest, can we not call them hobbies, but their interest, what their pain points are, also what they need to try and change in the world today, also changes with time and seasons. And you spoke at the beginning when you said, can you redefine your brand? Yes, you can. Yes. You spoke about the redefinition of brands. I'm sure the journey has been quite something, from journalism, and then now you become an advocate. You've gone into advocacy now and policy, and there's so much you're dealing with gender, you're creating studies. So how has that journey been redefining, and what do you do? Do you drop down one and you pick another? How has it been?
As younger people, we need to know that life is seasonal, and you just need to make the best of the season you're in.
Yes, that's true.
There will be a season where you're a young professional just out of university. Craft your personal brand around that season of your life.
That's good.
Don't necessarily craft it to be 50 or to be 40, because you will eventually, by God's grace, be 40 and 50. So in your earlier years, what is the core agenda? What is it that you want to achieve, perhaps in a period of 5 years? It may be that it's about your career. It may be that you want to go back to school. It may be that you want to get into a certain sector of industry. Craft it and then position yourself in a differentiated way that will drive the necessary credibility and begin to drive influence so that it impacts your agenda. And then one morning, perhaps no one will quite tell you, you will begin to be persuaded differently about how you've positioned yourself. So you will need to draw the best of that first 5 years, carry the best into the next 5 or 10 years as you redefine. Perhaps you start to think, I want to get into family, and that's the season for that. So how do you position yourself? And what do you need in order to convincingly deliver on that redefined positioning, so that it is again credible, that people will trust it, that people will strongly associate this repositioning with the thing that you are living and projecting. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
And just continuing, so to your point, today, the persuasions I had when I was 25
are different.
Are very different from the season I'm in at 20. You got me there. So, and you just embrace it. You embrace it, because life is beautiful. It's so diverse.
And you know what's interesting is many young people want quick success. That's the truth. Instant. We live in an instant gratification world. Many of them want instant success, but then at the same time, you are really giving us the real deal here. It's mostly focus on those short-term goals. As much as you know the long-term goal might be that, but at some point, just be open to knowing that things might change. And your position is different, your cause will be different as you move on with life.
That is correct. Because even in the world of marketing, the science of marketing tells us that there will be a lifetime cycle, irrespective. So a product begins here, you create a brand around it, and it probably will get to a place where it starts to plateau. Do you remove it off the shelf? Do you remove the cause off? You just refreshen it. And in our personal branding journeys, this is exactly the same situation. So when I was a younger professional, I positioned perhaps to be the best professional in my department.
Okay, that's nice.
Then there was a season that it became not just about the department, maybe it became about the company that I was in, to distinguish, to be my personal brand, to stand again, above a departmental consideration set.
Okay.
And then from there, perhaps you redefine it so that it is more visible at a community level.
Okay, yeah.
And then from there, at a society level. And then from there, perhaps now you are looking, how can I serve my country? And then the opportunities you might identify, then you say, how do I pivot my brand, my personal brand, so that I am able to oblige serving in that national capacity.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
And then now we live in a very tech world.
Yes.
Social media is key somehow right now. And so many young people, the Gen Z, we call them Gen Z, easily can make TikTok videos and they can put videos up and YouTube and Instagram, and they'll showcase themselves. Yes. And they show their mastery, on these platforms. Generation Y, which is where I come from, like going like this, somehow I feel like I have so many...
You and I.
So many people who are challenged, not just for their corporate brands, but also for their personal brands, to put themselves out there. I want to be a gender policy advocate. I want to be a sustainability, a voice for the young people. There's all these positions and causes that we'd want to do, but it's a challenge to be out there and to showcase this. And some would think of it as bragging, others would believe that it's just being shy of what I don't know how to do. But I'm sure because of experience, 29 years of experience, I can bring that
Okay, maybe I'm turning 30, maybe.
Okay, now 30. You know what the world was before social media. And so there will be an offline way of how you'd experience or maybe show yourself how to say, okay, I'm good at this, I'm the best journalist you can ever find, I'm the best marketer ever, and you still are able to promote your brand and grow in advance. So how would you advise somebody who's shy of social space today?
Well, I think, first, where we're at is great, okay? But some of us were able to build personal brands before social media. Clap, you know what I mean? But where we're at today with the enablement of technology is awesome. So that's a plus.
That's a plus.
Number two, have the capacity to keep, developing TikTok videos and amplifying their personal brands is also amazing. But the reality is, it is a very competitive world. Much more than it was before. Okay. So there is no room to be shy if you have ambition, if you have something to sell, if you have something to tell the world, if you want to drive impact. You just have to recompose yourself so that shy doesn't limit your potential. That's probably what I would say. And there's different ways in which you could overcome shy, maybe find a mentor, a coach, maybe go online and find them. You probably don't need to leave your house to go find them. But do find a way to overcome the thing that holds you back from realizing your potential. But that said, all of us, even people in my generation, and even older people are now using the fury, the power of technology to tell their stories and tell them better.
Yeah.
The whole idea now is how differently told will your story be, and how credible will it be. So, today's Insta community must not forget that brands are authentic.
Okay.
Consumers will not forgive you by virtue of you misreporting on your brand, telling half-truths about your brand, because old school, new school, mid-school, Gen Z school is brand must be authentic, must be authentic, must be authentic.
Yeah.
At BSD Group, we've always said brand is the business of business.
Okay.
So your personal business.
Brand is the business.
Brand is the business of business.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay? Brand is the business of business. Anything within your business that fails your business will impact your brand.
Okay.
Positively, negatively. Got it?
Yeah.
So similarly, if you were to use the same principle around a personal brand, based on everything we've discussed, is that don't let your shyness
deter you.
you're scared or fear constrain you from championing the personal brand that opens doors, drives influence, delivers on impact, and builds memorabilia. You know, recall. I remember her for this. I remember him for this.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's no room for
shyness
in that context. Overcome whatever is constraining you from, videos and the rest of it.
Basically build your brand without an apology. Just
because what else are you going to do? Who's going to build your brand for you? Be intentional. Now the channels through which you build your brand, that's a different conversation. But it has to be with you, saying, I'm going to build my brand. It's going to be for this, about this, in order to achieve XYZ. Is critical. The decision must be yours. And then the journey of how to, you could collaborate with others, but it has to be consciously you, intentionally you, unapologetically you.
Yeah, that's true. And so I don't know what your brand audit looks like. We do audits for companies, but we never think about audits for ourselves. There's something my sister always tries to remind me every time. I think it's called the Johari window. Out looking in looking out. So there's something that we also have to do in terms of auditing ourselves. I think you also mentioned it, I guess, before in this conversation. I don't know whether you do a brand audit of yourself. What does that look like? Or how would you advise someone, to do a brand audit of themselves? It might basically define the brand personality now moving forward.
I think that's a really good question. You can't audit yourself if you didn't set a standard. You have to first get to the place where you say, I will be about this, I will position for this, I will project this, I will behave this way, because brand behavior drives personal brand, right? So you have to say this. But you also need a little ecosystem of trusted friends. It could be family, it could be a colleague, it could be your boss, it could be your sponsor, in a corporate level, it could be your church community. Pick a set of 7 odd who will speak into, do you think if I position myself this way, speak strengths out of me, talk to me, and you must be able to accept what they will tell you, because you are sincere and authentic in wanting to build your brand. Then keep asking yourself 3 months later, am I doing the thing? What is it I didn't quite do? 6 months later, a year later, 3 years later. Of course you must audit. Because how else will you know whether you are moving along with your game plan? So personally I do. I want to hear feedback. I want to ask, I spoke at this place, what did you think? And then is it consistent with the things that I believe in? Did I go off track? Did I confuse the audience? You understand? Did it transform? Did it leave people feeling better about themselves, or did they feel dampened, etc.?
Okay.
So yes, we must always audit brands.
That's so frequent. You said 3 months, 6 months.
You must evaluate, because 12 months is too far gone.
Too far gone. Okay,
Imagine if you
true.
were driving confusion because of a post, a tweet you shared. I thought she was about, taking care of pets. Now she's growing vegetables.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh yes, I do 3 things. Oh, you had understood me just for 1 year.
Yeah.
And I am making a little light of that, but audit. Ask yourself, have a little think with yourself on an afternoon.
How do you just own your truth, basically? How do you go about just acceptance? That acceptance journey, what does that look like? Yeah.
Deciding to build a personal brand is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint-hearted. If you want to successfully and effectively build a personal brand, you must be open to receive feedback,
Okay.
whether positive or negative.
Yeah.
Okay? But you're receiving it from trusted sources,
Yeah, that's true.
so that when it is negative, it is not intended to hurt you or to demean the effort of your personal brand. It is to be trusted. So that's very important. The second thing is personal brand is not an aesthetic thing.
That's true.
It's not about a picture on Instagram.
Yeah.
Pictures on Instagram are very good, don't get me wrong. But it's not just about that, okay? Many people confuse personal brand building with brand identity.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of brand identity is about the look, okay? The look of on color, the look in terms of design. So at a personal brand level is how you show up, your dress sense or fashion sense is really the identity. But the personal brand is really about what it is you are about and for. Okay, what you believe in, what you would defend with your life if it had to come to that. And how that is true, so that people say, she's credible. I believe her, I believe him. And how that belief will then influence for a better day. So I really wanted to have that clarity. But for me, it's really about living purposefully. I've just simplified it to that very raw level of saying, I want to live purposefully. Did I know that when I began my career? Maybe not. Did I know that in the middle years of my career? Maybe it was beginning to form. But where I find myself today, it's really about purpose. So travel light, it takes grit. I know that I had that hashtag when we turned 10 as a business. It takes grit.
Okay.
It takes grit. It's not a microwave experience, and sadly, social media makes it about quick, a quick win, quick fix. That's not life. It doesn't matter whether you're Gen Z or you're Generation Y. The net return will be life is a journey. And I'm sure they said the same in the 18th century. Still stands true. Today.
The tagline under the logo of Women Today show, it's written, "Own your journey."
Nice.
So I'm always trying to accept my journey and also accept other people's journeys.
That's
and
beautiful. Own your journey. I love that. Can I borrow?
Yes, please. Own your journey. I love it. So that's just the theme. That's the idea of Women Today.
I love it. So maybe that's why I'm on this show today.
Owning your journey
and travel light.
and sharing it.
Travel light. Make time to laugh. Make time to love. It's very important. And just take time to be grateful. That's my theme this year.
I love that. I love the positivity. Thank you so much,
Thank
Eva.
you.
I love your authenticity. I love your support. It's true. If there's anybody questioning whether she supports youth, she does. She supports you from her heart. And I
am
love
so
you so
proud
much.
of you,
Thank you so much.
I am so proud of you, Christine. You're going to be phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
One day they will talk about you on global platforms and they'll be breaking the door trying to come to your show. And I hope that when I call you at the tender age of 35, I'm 35 now, you'll allow me to come on your show. But thank you for having invited me. I want to remind everybody, we release on March 21st, the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya. People can find more information on our website, which is www.bsd.co.ke or www.top100brands.africa. All the information is there. Drum rolls. We begin the countdown tomorrow. In exactly 21 days. We will be releasing 2023 rankings, and I can't wait.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I love it. It even has a website of its own.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Yes.
The brand of its own.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eva.
Asante sana. Okay, and all the best. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.
Well, dear viewers, that was a lot to learn and digest from. I hope that this episode has inspired you, encouraged you, and even challenged you to continue moving forward to reach the fullest potential. And if there are few adjustments that are needed there, you got the feedback now. And I just thank you so much for tuning in up to this time, to the end of the show. Before I end the show completely, I just want to remind you to subscribe to our channel. Subscribe and also click on the notification bell so that every time we post, you're the first to know about it. So thank you so much, and I appreciate all of you so much. And I just want to also remind you, by the way, to register for the event that is happening on the 31st of March 2023, a culmination of the International Women's Month. Eva Muraya will be there to speak to us, among other many top women leaders, to have a conversation with us. And if her conversation inspired you even more, come with your questions, come and get her as your mentor, and come and make a friend. Let's network. Let's be in a space of positivity, encouraging and loving one another. That's it for today. I just want to appreciate you again and say bye-bye. Till next time. Bye-bye.